Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Thank you for joining me once again here in the centre of Birmingham. I was thinking just the other day just how much social media plays into our photography and how it affects what we do and what we photograph. So today I'm going to take you to some of the most Instagrammable locations here in the centre of Birmingham. But before I do that, please remember to give the video a thumbs up. And also please remember to subscribe to the channel because that really helps me going forward. And for now, I'm going to make a move and find my first composition of the day. So what is it then, I hear you ask, that makes a place Instagrammable? What is it that makes a place somewhere where people want to go and photograph? What is it that makes it such an interesting, inspiring place? Well, really, it's to do with vibrancy, colour, something with a bit of an interest that will draw the eye into the scene. Like with a lot of landscape photos anyway. But obviously it makes a big difference if it's somewhere which is really attractive on the eye. And often that's not just down to me, the photographer, that's down to the people who are looking at it. And with Instagram, all those people who are looking at the images are people who want to see these Instagrammable locations, places that inspire them, places that make them feel good, places where they want to socialise and be associated with. And one of those places is right here in Ousel Square, here in the centre of Birmingham. Behind me, I don't know how well you can see that, that is the icon gallery. And if I turn the camera around here, this is Ousel Square behind me. And the view from either end of Ousel Square, either towards the icon gallery or looking away from it, is always fantastic. I'm going to take a couple of shots here now and show you why. There are several bars and restaurants around this area which people like to look at, people like to come to, people like to have food and drink and just basically enjoy themselves at the weekends around here. But one of the best spots is this archway behind me. And as you can see, if you look through the gap there, you've got the Turtle Bay restaurant behind it. And that looks brilliant, just sat perfectly composed inside that archway. So I'm going to take a photo of this, and then I'm going to turn around and take a photo of the icon gallery, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the scene around me as well. Take a look, if you don't mind, at these beautiful cherry trees dotted all the way along both sides of Ousel Square. In the springtime, these trees, of course, are completely and utterly covered in bright pink blossom on their cherry trees. So it's a space where a lot of people tend to come and take some great shots for Instagram. Just in the spring, really, because of the colours of those vibrant cherry blossoms. I'm going to move on and see if I can find my next spot now. This is a great spot as well. You see a lot of modelling photos taken just here because of the beautiful backdrop of the water trickling down these steps here, which makes a really interesting Instagram location. And in fact, as I've been stood here about to set up a little bit of footage for you, I've noticed a couple of people a little bit further back towards this archway here taking some photos for Instagram. So I'm going to pop over there and take a few photos myself after I've taken a photo just here. Well, how about that for irony? As I took those photos and went up to the archway and tried to take a photo through the archway, that last photo I've just shown you, just before I could manage to reel off that shot, there was a chap stood outside one of the buildings next to the archway, and he said to me, "Are you on the gram?" Which kind of proves my point, really. That must be a spot which is an Instagrammable location. As I stood there talking to Naveed, he was telling me all about the cherry blossoms that I just told you about a few minutes earlier, just round the corner from where I was standing. And he's also followed me on Instagram, so thank you for that, Naveed. It's always great to get new followers and new friends. But obviously, like I say, he must work here, he must be here all the time, and he was telling me that there's a lot of lovely places around here which are perfect for Instagram, and basically he was proving my point really, that these are the most Instagrammable locations in Birmingham. I'm right here now at another one of those, which is these bridges here over the canal, where two canals actually meet here in the middle of Birmingham. And there's a great shot here looking over the bridges, with several of the bridges all kind of layering up together behind one another. So I'll take a shot of that here and then I'll move on. Just while I'm here by these bridges, in fact, if you can see just in the background, just beyond those bridges, there's a pub. That's the Malthouse pub, with a lovely balcony view over the canal here. And about 25 years ago, former US President Bill Clinton visited Birmingham, and whilst on his visit to Birmingham, he stopped for a pint and sat on the balcony at the Malthouse pub. That's probably about 25 years ago now, but it's quite a well-known scene of Bill Clinton sat on that balcony raising a glass. So I'm going to move on around the corner to my very next location, which is probably only about 300 or 400 yards from here, and I hope you like that one as well. This is another fantastic spot for Instagram. Basically, if you look along this bridge here that I'm standing on now, it's just a little footbridge across the canal, but either side of the footbridge we've got these beautiful planters here, which are full of colour, full of vibrancy right now in July, but in the spring they're even more colourful, and people often get married in the register office not far from here, and when they do, they'll come out to this spot to have wedding photos taken here in the centre of Birmingham because of these beautiful planters, but also because of all the beautiful scenery around here, which makes for great wedding photography locations. So I'm going to stop and take a couple of shots here, both on the bridge and from either side of the bridge, and see what I can get here. Unfortunately, as you'll see, the weather has taken a bit of a turn for the worst. It's gone a bit dark and cloudy overhead, and the light is piss poor now, to be quite honest with you. But I'm in a location here now which is very much Instagrammable, and certainly is so during the summer months normally, when the sun's out and the light's just right on everywhere. You'll notice that Regency Wharf sign behind me, just over in the background there. That's normally painted a very, very bright yellow, the lettering. I don't know why it isn't at the moment, but for some reason it doesn't look very nice right now. But I have seen it when it's really, really brightly coloured, with a bright yellow colouring, and it looks great on Instagram. But also, I'd like to try and get around to the other side of that little footbridge that goes across Gas Street Basin just here, because hopefully then I can get a little bit closer to that sign and get a slightly better shot than what I've just got. But also I can get a little bit closer to the canal house over the road, which is also another great Instagrammable location. But in the meantime, I'm going to walk around this canal and see if I can find one last shot before I go back over that way. This building right behind me is very famous, the Mailbox. It's a great place for Instagram at the moment, but also in the past it was an area which was part of the Royal Mail estate, and that building was an old sorting office many, many years ago for Royal Mail. But since Royal Mail moved out, the whole area has been regenerated and rebuilt, and it's become a vibrant space for bars and restaurants in the area. So that's a really good place to go. But also, in that building is the studios for the BBC in our local area, and they produce news reports for the local area, and obviously that space is being used very, very well now by the BBC. I've come here though because it is a lovely view looking back over towards the mailbox itself, but also the other side of me, right behind me, is a place called the Cube, and just along the canal from here I can get a decent shot of the Cube, which is also a perfect Instagrammable location. But before I do that, I'm going to capture this shot looking towards the mailbox, and then I'll head back towards the Cube and take a couple of shots there. Well, what an odd location that was. That building there just behind me is called the Cube, and inside there's all kinds of different bars and restaurants, and it's quite an interesting place. There's even a bowling alley inside there, so you can go and play bowling if you want to. But while I was in there, I found something really, really strange. There are several little brass life-size statues of people, all with hearts for heads. I don't know why, I don't know what it's all about. I've never understood it, so if you know what they are all about, please let me know in the comments below. Also, I've noticed somewhere on Instagram there are a lot of pictures of a very bright red angle poised lamp, which is life size, not a normal size bedside lamp. It's a lamp that's as big as a human being, standing in front of a doorway or something, and it's somewhere near here. I don't know exactly where it is, so again, if you know exactly where that is, please let me know in the comments and I'll go and try and capture my own photo of it. But for now, if you've enjoyed the vlog, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and also remember to subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.